Whispers in the Dark, America's Real Nightmares. Some stories aren't just stories, they're darker. They stick with you long after the lights come back on. These are the real horror stories, born from the shadows of American towns. Small communities, big cities, no place is truly immune. Forget the movie monsters for a moment. The true terror lies in what actually happened. What could happen again? This is where fear gets personal. This is where the nightmares begin. The chill you feel is different. It's the cold dread of reality, knowing that these events unfolded, that real people suffered. Let's investigate. Picture Villisca, Iowa, June 1912. A quiet, ordinary Midwestern town, kids played in the streets, neighbors chatted over fences, life was simple, predictable. Until the morning of June 10th. That morning, the peace was shattered. Inside a modest white house lived the Moore family, Josiah and Sarah, their 4 young children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul. That night, 2 neighbor girls, Lena and Ina Stillinger, were staying over. 8 people sleeping under one roof. None of them would see the sunrise. They were found bludgeoned to death, in their beds. An axe belonging to Josiah Moore was the murder weapon. The scene was gruesome, beyond comprehension for the small town. The Villisca axe murders remain unsolved, a gaping wound in American true crime history. Would you dare to spend a night there? Travel back to Adams, Tennessee, the early 1800s, the Bell family farm, John Bell, his wife Lucy, and their children. They were respected members of their community, hard-working, God-fearing. Their lives were unremarkable until something noticed them. Something unseen, something malevolent. It began subtly, faint scratching sounds in the walls, whispers that seemed to come from nowhere. The family tried to ignore it, hoped it would go away. It didn't. The activity escalated rapidly. The whispers became clear voices, taunting, mocking. Then came the physical torment. Family members were slapped by invisible hands, their hair pulled, they were pinched, bruised, and even choked. Young Betsy Bell, John's daughter, seemed to be a particular target, as was John Bell himself. The entity was relentless. It seemed to feed on their fear, their despair. This was no ordinary haunting. The entity identified itself. It called itself Kate, or more commonly, the Bell Witch. Kate spoke freely, argued with John Bell, even interacted with visitors who came to witness the phenomena. Section 4. Eyes on the House, the Westfield Watcher. Fast forward to a more modern horror. Westfield, New Jersey, an affluent, picturesque suburb, 2014. Derek and Maria Broaddus bought their dream home. A beautiful colonial house at 657 Boulevard, 6 bedrooms, a sprawling yard. It was perfect, or so they thought. They were excited to start their new life, to raise their 3 young children there. They never got the chance. The nightmare began before they even moved in. It started with a letter, addressed to the new owner. The author identified themselves only as the Watcher. The letter was unsettling. It claimed that the writer's family had been watching 657 Boulevard for generations, that the house craved young blood. It asked if the Broadduses had found what was in the walls yet. This was just the beginning. More letters followed, each one more disturbing, more threatening than the last. The Watcher seemed to know things, intimate details. The letters mentioned the Broaddus children by their nicknames, described their car, asked which bedrooms they would sleep in. The identity of the Watcher was never discovered. Section 5. The lingering chill when horror is real. These stories are not fiction. They are not born from the mind of a writer. They are etched into the history of the United States. Villisca, Adams, Westfield, these are real places, with real addresses. Real people endured these horrors. Their fear was genuine. Their suffering was documented. This is what separates these accounts from mere entertainment. This is what makes them truly chilling. The knowledge that it happened. It could happen. The axe in Villisca, the unseen entity tormenting the Bells, the menacing letters in Westfield. The question isn't whether true horror exists. The question is, what will you do when it finds you?